What's going on, everybody? Y'all already know the vibes, man. And look, guys, I know it's been a little bit since the last upload. That's because obviously the major was going on, and then CJ, who is my editor, I'm sure most of you guys probably know by now, he got his second round of the COVID vaccine, and it affected him a lot. He said that he was feeling down in the dumps for multiple days. So I obviously wasn't gonna tell him, yo, you got to get up, you need to edit this video. But he is back. He's feeling a lot better. So we're getting back into the swing of things. And we have a good video. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to be doing an updated power rankings, tier list, whatever you want to call it. But enough of me talking, guys. I am back. We're going to be posting a lot more consistently. Let's get into the tier list. All right, guys. So before we get into this, I want to make one thing very clear. There are a couple of teams that are very, very good. And you might disagree. This might be a hot take right off rip. Who knows? You might say, Enable, you're an absolute idiot. That makes no sense. But I think it's about time we give respect to Faze. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who the hell isn't giving respect to Faze? But what I mean by that, guys, is I have Atlanta Faze as the #1 team in the S tier, obviously. But I don't think there's any other team in the S tier with them. And let me tell you why. They've been to every single final so far. Okay. And all the majors, every single one, they're 3 for 4. Okay. No other team has even played even close to their level. And while they have, lost a major, they lost to Toronto. Dallas took them to map 9. There's teams that, have taken them the distance, but they're not there consistently. They're not. Faze has the highest floor in the whole league. I don't think you could argue that at all. And I know you guys are going to say, yeah, but Toronto and New York and yada, yada, yada. I got to give respect to Faze. What they've been doing is unbelievable. This hasn't been seen in a very long time. They've proven it doesn't matter from online to LAN. They're #1. Moving on, though, to the second best team in the league, in my opinion, right now, after stage 4. And it will be the first team in the A tier. It's got to be Toronto. Toronto's got to be #2. They've gotten a win in 2/3 at majors. They've looked fantastic. I know they got reverse swept by Empire to be in the finals again. But earlier in the event when they played Empire, they should have got 3-0'd, and they were able to bounce back and win that. I think it was winners round, 2? 1 or 2? No, 2. It's got to be 2, I think. Regardless, though, Toronto, their level of consistency is about as close as it could possibly get compared to Faze. They have a very talented team. I think their biggest strength, though, is just their teamwork, man, and their understanding of the game. They're at the top. Like, I wouldn't argue if you said that Toronto Ultra had the best teamwork in the game. I wouldn't argue that. Now, I wouldn't say it's that much better than, say, Faze, but I think Faze just has the perfect mix. And it's no disrespect to the Toronto Ultra boys, but Faze is the most talented team in the league. They have probably the best players in each individual role, all on their team. So they're going to be tough to beat no matter what. But then I also have NYSL as the #3 team right now, also in A tier. Unfortunate event for them. Asim had visa issues. Fortunately, he was able to figure them out, so that won't be an issue anymore. But he couldn't play, and they had to replace him with Decimate. And I said this before the major, guys. Everyone's going to find out, if they didn't already know, how important and how impactful Asim was to this Subliners team. And I think it showed. They didn't do horrible by any means, but you could tell. They just looked like a completely different team. So I think it would be unfair to move them out of the #3 spot because they've basically been cemented there for a while now. Now, if Asim comes back and they aren't performing up to standard, then maybe we move them out. But for right now, I have them in A tier, and they are also my #3 team. Going on to the 4th best team in the CDL currently, guys, I have the Dallas Empire. Now, I got to give a shout out to Empire, man. The players, Rambo Ray, the coach. I don't know if they have any other people on their coaching staff, but if they do, because they turned it around. You know, they did not look good with Fellow after they benched and dropped Duke. Even in the beginning with Vivid, they didn't look good at all. Vivid looked very uncomfortable, and they turned up at this major. Now, I don't think that this was because of it going from online to LAN by any means. Maybe it was a little bit, but I truly think they're finally just getting on the same page with each other. Like they did make it to winners bracket online in group stage, and they played NYSL close. They had some very close series. At the end of the day, they were able to clutch up, make it to that winners bracket, and you know, it showed how much it helped tremendously in this major, in the stage 4 major. But I definitely think that they're just smoothing everything out, and you have to give props to Illy. That's someone I was kind of hard on. That sounds odd, harsh. I was harsh on Illy's performance. Even Krim. The only player I was really gassing up was Shotzi, because Shotzi's just built different, you know what I'm saying? But they all played great. You know, they freaking should have won 3-0 versus Toronto Ultra in winners round 2. End up choking and then losing that series. But then they reverse swept them to get in the finals to go up against Faze. So you can call it revenge if you want. But they look good. You have to give them the respect. I feel like they finally turned things around. And I'm excited to see how far this team can go, because they played Faze about as close as you possibly can. You know, they took them to game number 9, round 10. They kind of made, I don't know what they did round 10, but not going to talk about in this video. They tried some, it didn't work. They end up getting second. They are my number 4 team in the CDL, and they are also in the A tier. This is where it gets kind of tough, because that's it for the A tier in my opinion. Moving on to the B tier, and the 5th best team gotta be OpTic. They got 4th this major. They didn't really beat any good teams. They got absolutely bodied by Empire winners round 1, I believe, 3-0. And dude, OpTic is so hit or miss. They have some of the most talented players in their team, and I've said this so many times on stream, guys. I think all 4 of these players could find major success on teams in the league, but they just don't have what it takes together. They're too inconsistent. They're hit or miss on their teamwork. Different paces, man. Like they just don't get it. Or I shouldn't say they don't get it, but they just do not gel together in the slightest. And it shows. You know, they can beat damn near anyone when they're all on, but they all have to be on individually. That's not what you want in a consistent contender, consistent championship level team. So I have them in the B tier. I do think they're better than basically, well, okay. Nice one, Captain Obvious Enable. I was going to say, I think they're better than every other team that I haven't put on the board yet, but that is why I put OpTic here. But I just think they're a tier below, man. I think they're a tier below these teams. Like I could see Ultra Subliners Empire winning a chip. I think if you're in the S tier or the A tier, you're contenders. You know, S tier, you're the favorite. A tier, you're a contender, you can win. B tier, you're very good. Don't think you got enough in the tank to win a chip. Like I couldn't see them going through at least 2 of these 4 teams. You know, because you're gonna have to if you want to win stage 5 and champs. I just can't see them doing it. So I have OpTic and B tier. 6th best team. I don't know if I want to go Florida Mutineers, Minnesota Røkkr, or Seattle Surge. Minnesota got 5th, 6th. Florida and Seattle both got 7th, 8th at this major. I'm gonna go Florida Mutineers, also in the B tier with OpTic. They didn't get the results that they wanted to, obviously, at this major on LAN. 7th, 8th. I thought one of the bright spots was Neptune. He played absolutely fantastic, but they were kind of lackluster. They kind of let me down, I'll be honest, guys. I was really high on them because they seemed like they were starting to figure it out. Neptune was playing really well online heading into this major, and they were underwhelming. It's as simple as that. Neptune played great though, which is a great sign because Neptune needs to be playing where he's at minimum for this team to find success. And I think Florida and Seattle and Minnesota, all of these teams are close. But in terms of potential, I feel that Florida has, or maybe not, potential, the highest ceiling. I feel like that's something that Florida has. And then moving on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Moving on to the 7th best team, also in the B tier, I have the Seattle Surge. Now, if you're wondering why I would put them ahead of Minnesota Røkkr, I think Seattle Surge showed that when they don't think about online, right, and they just play, they're a different team. Octane looked great. They probably should have beat OpTic Gaming. They played them very well. They played, they absolutely bodied Paris, absolutely bodied London. Teams that they should beat, right? Jesus, voice crack. Teams that they should beat. And they took care of it easily. And that's something online that it wasn't as easy for them. But I think it was more in their heads instead of online to LAN. I truly do. Especially nowadays with how the servers are and everything. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's not. I think Seattle look really good. I think they're trending upwards. I know they can't make champs unless they have to, I'm pretty sure I saw Sam say they have to win. They have to win stage 5 major in Florida to lose every series or something. So most likely not going to happen. But then that takes me to my number 8 team in the CDL. And I also have these guys in the B tier. These guys are good. I don't think any of these guys are contenders. Minnesota got 5th, 6th at the major. Just when I compare this team to the rest of them in the B tier, guys, I feel like they have the lowest ceiling. I don't know what it is, man. They're a solid team. I love all the players, but I just think they're missing something. And it might be a little too late in the season to really make a blockbuster move. So I don't know what they could do. And it's not a shot at any of the players' skill. I think all 4 players are really good. Once again, similar to what I said about OpTic, I think they could all have success on different teams. I just feel like that mix of players, you're going to be in a spot where it's really hard to be a contender consistently. Do I think that they could maybe beat some of these A tier teams, other B tier teams? Yeah, I do. But I just can't see them going all the way. And that's why I have them coming in at number 8. Now we get to the bottom of the barrel. Coming in at number 9, I have Los Angeles Thieves in the C tier. They got 11-12 at the major. I know they lost 3-2 to LAG in the first round. You guys are probably, why the hell do you have LAT above LAG? You're so biased. You enable, you LAT fan. Blah, blah. Listen, man. We all know what happened with the Kyler situation, okay? Not going to get into it. No disrespect to Draza, but obviously they were expecting to go in that tournament with Kyler. Draza had to fill in, run a sub, and it's going to be hard. They lost both S&Ds into control. Even though it's only a 1-player swap and Draza was on the starting roster, S&D is always going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest thing when you don't have your full team, and it showed. It showed. But come on, when you compare LAT to the rest of the teams, they have such a higher ceiling. They have more talent. Yeah, they've been pretty ass as well as the rest of the teams. But I am just more confident in them, and I think they're better. I truly think they're better. I could see LAT beating the teams in the B tier. I don't know if I see any of these teams doing that, realistically. And then we have the 10th team in the CDL, and I'll put them in the C tier as well. Los Angeles Guerrillas, LA Thieves, brother team. They just made an announcement not that long ago, guys, that Chino was benched and they're trying Mental out. Now, this is interesting. I talked about this all the time. LAG, their ceiling is it's a ranch. Okay, it's one story. They have a very low ceiling compared to these other teams. I don't know who in the hell was calling the shots over at LAG this whole year. The fact that this is still a team, the core is still the same. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. I would have did things way differently if I was, you know, the one calling the shots. But they've consistently been at least better than Paris and London. You know, Paris and London, I think, have had way higher highs, but they've also had, I guess, more consistent lows. I'm kind of spitballing, bro. All these teams are kind of ass if I'm, you know, keeping it buggy. But anyways, then we have the 11th place team. Got Paris Legion, man. I thought that they were kind of trending upwards, looking good going into the LAN. And then they got absolutely bodied by Seattle Surge. Not really much else to talk about. I think they have more talent on their team. I think they are the better overall team compared to London. And London will be the 12th and last team that I have on this list. Joining Paris in the D tier. I mean, these two teams just not that great. And that's being generous. Because they're pretty goddamn horrible, if I'm being honest with you. I don't mean it in any disrespect. I know I'm calling them horrible. These guys are all professionals at the end of the day, and I'm not. I'm retired, you know. I'm that get off my lawn guy at this point in my career. But those are my power rankings, guys. Also in a tier list, little 2 birds, 1 stone action. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree with the list. I know I had a couple hot takes putting Faze in S tier by themselves, but I think it's deserved, especially with the amount of success they've had. And I want to know if you guys have the same list or it's wildly different than mine. I appreciate y'all. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. You know, it helps me out. All the YouTubers say it. Please do it. Trying to hit 30,000 subs. I'm out here freaking hitting my mic with my beard. But until next time, guys, I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all. Stay healthy. Stay hydrated. Deuces.